Hello! Welcome to episode 37 of the themoannaadams podcast. If you're new, I'm Moana. I'm super excited to have you. If you don't know who I am already, I'm a 16-year-old girl who loves to talk about self-love and mental health, and I spent a year traveling in an RV with my family. We did 48 states in 48 weeks, and now I just like to talk, I guess, and share thoughts and opinions and ideas on different topics, and try to make every episode feel like you're on a FaceTime call with a good friend and give you my advice, my everything. And yeah, I'm happy that you're here. If you aren't new, you probably noticed that the normal intro was not there. And that is because I am cutting it. I just don't feel like it fits how I want the podcast to feel anymore. And so I'm cutting it. I am right now recording for the first time since July, the start of July, and it is now about to be the start of September. This has been the longest break I've ever taken, so I would really appreciate if everyone could bear with me a little bit. I'm definitely a little bit rusty, a little bit nervous, but I'm happy to be back and creating again. I have been definitely struggling. Just, recently I went on a trip to Puerto Rico, and that's the first time I took a break from posting to social media for a week. I had been posting once a day, every day, for 7 months straight, or 7 months straight, January, February, 6-7 months straight, and that's the first time that I stopped doing that, and it kind of sent me in a little bit of a spiral, because I went from, doing this thing every single day. It was just like, every day I just had to do one more, I just had to do one more reel, I just had to post one reel, whatever it was, and it's really easy to stay consistent when you've already had it for so long. It's just like, just one more. But I wasn't growing. I wasn't feeling great about the content I was putting out. I wasn't very proud of it. And so I went on my trip to Puerto Rico, and I was like, okay, I'll take a week and, focus on experiencing Puerto Rico. I'll still take content while I'm there, but I won't post. I won't edit. And then I got back, and I just didn't start posting again. And, I kind of, I didn't want to. It's just easier to not. And it's really easy to break consistency and then not get back on it. It's really difficult to get back to something after you've quit for a while. And, so yeah. Please bear with me. I'm probably a little rusty. I can already hear myself using lots of ums and likes and things like that. But I also just enrolled at ASU, Arizona State, to take dual enrollment classes, and the first class I'm taking is public speaking, which is terrifying because I have a lot of self-confidence. It's definitely grown a lot, and I'm definitely things go in waves, and I'm definitely kind of in the lower part of one of those waves recently. But something that I've never had confidence with is people just even if they're only a few years older than me, I don't know what it's been, but it's always been I get nervous. I don't feel like I am old enough, I guess. I've already had blah, blah, blah. I've always had almost imposter syndrome over my age. I don't feel like I am really talking to other people and being oh my god, you're a 16-year-old. I'm 16. That's so weird to me, and I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. If you understand, then, you feel me. But I'm going way off the outline. So let's talk about changes and what's new and where I've been in Puerto Rico and all the things. So, like I said, I'm already cutting the intro that we normally do, and I'm just going to start off with the music and speak. And then segments. Normally, we do currently loving and grateful and a little life update, that kind of thing. But we're adding in a newest segment that I'm happy about. Y'all might not be happy about it. You might think it's gross, but I think it's kind of fun. And we'll get to that in a second, but we're always going to start off with gratefuls instead of it being second. I think actually what happened was when I created my template for guest episode outlines, I accidentally put currently loving or grateful, whichever one it was, like the reverse that I have it on solo episodes. So that was always tripping me up. So now I know we're always going to start off with gratitude. And today I'm grateful for the first day of school and new beginnings, and yeah, that's what I'm grateful for today. And then our second segment now is going to be water break. So if you're anything like me, you never drink enough water. I definitely don't. And so this is your moment to find water fountain, water bottle, water glass, whatever it is, and take a sip of water with me, and you're going to listen to me drink it, and it's probably, some people are not going to like it, but I think it's funny, so I'm leaving it in. So everybody on the count of 3, drink water. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's our water break. That's your hydration reminder for the day. And then we're going to do currently loving, and I actually have a lot of currently lovings because it has been 2 months. So first up are these bandana tube tops that I've been wearing all summer. Summer's like coming to an end, which I can't decide if I'm excited for fall or not, because I've always been a fall girl, but like this summer I really loved like summer. But I've been wearing these all summer. I wore one today, and I got them as a gift for Christmas, and they're called Headbands of Hope, and they were just like hair headbands, like if you watch Survivor, it's just like a buff, right? And I started wearing them like they do on Survivor as tube tops, because I will say I am like an itty bitty human, and I think I have like just enough boob for it to work. But I love them. They're so comfortable, and I don't have to wear a bra, which is really nice. And yeah, I love them. I'll put them in the link in the episode notes. But they're called Headbands of Hope. They're on Amazon. They only sell a few like patterns or colors at a time. So I got a pack of 3 that had like a blue, like not swirly, like geometric kind of, but also kind of flowy pattern. And I got a geometric like stripy pattern that's like black and pink and white. And I got like a rainbow tie-dye one. They're the most comfortable thing ever. I wear them around the house constantly. I'm thinking about ordering some more. I'm actually kind of sad because oh my gosh, it's getting hot in here, and I'm like, why is it getting so hot? And it's because for some reason the heat in the car is like so weird. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right. Most comfortable things ever. I love them. They're great. But I'm sad because they have been getting stretched out a little bit too much. And so, like, I can't wear them, like, as well. They don't look as good as they did now that they've been, you know, like, washed a few times and everything. But I still love them. And then my second currently loving is the e.l.f. like dual-sided eyebrow gel and clear mascara. I got this right before going to Puerto Rico because I accidentally left my brow balm at my best friend's house. And this thing is the best. I don't even care about the brow balm anymore because this stuff is great. It's like a little tube, so it does run out fast. But one side is clear mascara, which I loved when I was in Puerto Rico because I never knew when it was going to pour rain, when I was going to be, you know, swimming or jumping in the ocean or sweating heavily or swimming in a waterfall. So that was really great because even if it ran or came off, you couldn't see it at all, but it still like gave me that extra length. And then the brow gel is the best. It doesn't flake at all. I love it. I'm sure there are better ones out there, but I love this one. I think it's great. So yeah. And then my third currently loving is my new school notebooks, which today was my first day of school, and it should be the day that you're listening to this, because I'm going to go home and edit this and then post it. But these school notebooks, we were looking for school supplies because, as most of you know, I am homeschooled / private online schooled. It's confusing. But I needed notebooks to take notes in. And I had seen lots of stuff about everybody's senior year backpacks and how they have like Dora backpacks and Paw Patrol backpacks for their senior year, which I love. I'm a junior, I'm not a senior. But I got Marvel Yubi or Yobi. I don't know. I really am awful at reading. It's like Yoobi, I think. Or maybe it's a D. I think it's a B. I'm pretty sure it's a B. It's the stationery brand and the back to school, like, school supplies brand with the pelican. Or no, the toucan. They sell it at Target and stuff like that, but I got them off Amazon. And they have, like, little, like, Captain America and Iron Man and Hulk and Black Panther and Spider-Man, like, heads on them. And they have, like, little speech bubbles. And they're so, like, I mean, they're made for, like, an elementary student probably. And I love them. They're so funny. And I was like, I'm still trying to decide. I'm not taking a math or a science class this year. I'm only taking 5 classes this semester. Social studies, U.S. history, English 3, Spanish 2, public speaking, and driver's ed. And I picked Spider-Man for my public speaking because I didn't know I was going to take public speaking. I just know I was taking a college class, so I picked Spider-Man. And then I picked Captain America for U.S. history. And I couldn't decide who to do English and who to do Spanish. So I'm still figuring that out. But I love them, and they're the best. So I'll also put those in the episode notes. But we're already 12 minutes in, and we haven't even gotten to the rest of the episode. So let's do that. Okay, first of all, let's do a little life update for the people that, have listened before. Where have I been? Like I said earlier, I went to Puerto Rico. We spent a whole week there. And took a break from social media and everything, and then I just kind of didn't stop taking that break. And I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but first I want to talk about the trip a little bit, because this was one of the, like, coolest trips, obviously, other than the 48 states and 48 weeks, but it was my first time on an airplane since I was 7, and it's the first time that my mom, my brother, and I have ever taken a trip together for a full 7 days. On the plane there, I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off for the first time. So good. And we stayed at one of the nicest hotels I've ever been in, and the first day we just hung out at the pool and relaxed because we were tired. Second day we spent the day on a catamaran and did a snorkeling tour, which was a ton of fun. Orion and I were the only kids on the boat, which was awesome because, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of kids right now, and so that was really nice. I posted a mini vlog on my personal account on Instagram, so go check that out because it was really pretty. The water's gorgeous. Yeah, and then the second day we went to Old San Juan and spent the day there, and it was 1,000,000 degrees. It was really hot, but it was really pretty, and the buildings are so cool with all the different paintings and the colors and the forts and everything. And we spent 2 days in the rainforest. One of those I did get to swim in a waterfall. It's my favorite waterfall swim I've done. And yeah, so 2 days in the rainforest. I just posted pictures yesterday of the waterfall on my personal Instagram too. And we did a super sketch muddy hike. I found out about this other waterfall with a rope swing and everything on this guy's private property, and if you pay like $5, he lets you park and you can hike to it. So we got there, we pulled up. It's in the middle of nowhere in Puerto Rico, and so nobody spoke English, which I do know. I'm in Spanish too, so I know some Spanish, but I'm not very confident in my Spanish, so I was very nervous to, like, try and speak Spanish because I honestly didn't want to embarrass myself and, like, say something that I wasn't supposed to and, like, make mistakes and that kind of thing. But we were able to figure out which way to go and everything, and we hiked through the rainforest alone, me, my mom, and my brother, for like 30 minutes. in deep, like ankle deep mud. I did it barefoot, which was probably the stupidest thing I could have done, but I had water shoes and I didn't want to wear them. I wanted to be barefoot in the jungle, and I left my hiking boots in Georgia. So I hiked to the jungle barefoot, and it was a ton of fun. And then we had to cross the river for the second time when we were going back, and I was in the river with either a water snake or an eel. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was one or the other. But it was still really fun, even though we never found the waterfall or the rope swing. Still really fun. And then the second day, when we were on the way to the waterfall that I swam in, we were hiking up for maybe 10 minutes, probably more like 5, and we hear a woman screaming behind us that, like, help, like somebody help, and like she was in trouble. And so we turned around, and she was like only like 30-40 feet from us, and her husband was laying on a rock on the riverbed, like out cold. And so immediately I was so, like, I was ready. I'm pretty good under pressure, I think, and like I've done CPR training, like I know the drill. And you know, there was another American family next to us, and we weren't sure if they were locals or not, because she wasn't speaking very clearly, and we weren't sure if it was because she was in shock or if she just didn't speak good English, and she was Spanish speaking. And so we're trying to figure out, like, did he hit his head? What's up? Like, you know, what's going on? And he woke up. He got up. He was moving. My mom sent me to run to the car and get, like, some food and some water, because we thought that maybe he had, like, passed out from, like, the heat and everything. So I sprinted down in my red Converse, because it was, like, not even half a mile up to get to the waterfall. And so it was probably, like, 0.4 or 0.3 of a mile. So I was just like, I'm going to wear my Converse. It's fine. And so I sprint down on the wet rocks through the rainforest back to the car. I get the stuff, and meanwhile, every person I pass, I'm asking I'm asking, like, what is the emergency number, because we didn't know it. We weren't sure if it was still 911 or whatever, because it is a little bit confusing, because Puerto Rico is an American or U.S. territory, but certain things are governed by, like, similar and the same as the U.S., and other things are not. So, you know, we weren't sure, and which is something that now, anytime I travel anywhere that's not in the continental U.S. or in the U.S. fully, I'm definitely going to make sure that I know the answer to that before I go. I think that's really important to know when you're traveling, is what's the emergency number. And I probably freaked a lot of people out, because I was, like, screaming at them, asking them what it was. Finally, someone gave it to me, and I got back up there, and just before I left, he had passed out again. So, you know, I was moving pretty quickly, and he was up, and he was moving and talking, and we think that he may have hit his head on a rock, but we're not sure exactly how it turned out. But they got down off the mountain, and we assume that they are safe and all good. And then we spent the last 2 days shopping, doing the bioluminescent water on the kayaks, which was really fun. And then the last day, we drove to Roque Norte, which is an outdoor climbing gym. It was super cool. I got to climb outdoor for the first time. Well, not the first time, but, like, actually climb outdoor for the first time. It's really great, and I had a ton of fun. I did 5.8, 3 5.9s, and a 5.10, I think. I think that's what I climbed. Yeah, that sounds right. And then we got on the plane and headed home. Orion and I watched Infinity War. On the way back, we synced up our TVs, which was really fun. And then I also watched an episode of Anything Goes by Emma Chamberlain, which was the first time I'd actually ever done that. I guess she has a partnership with Delta or whoever their TV provider is, and she had, like, a couple of her episodes on there, and one of them was It Feels Like Everybody Has a Podcast, and I thought it was really interesting. She was talking about, like, the amount of people who create podcasts and quit. Like, for example, me, I just took 2 months. They would never have come back. And, you know, I've talked about how before, all it takes is 21 episodes, and you're in the top 1% of podcasts, because so many people don't make it past, like, episode 20. And so that was really interesting to hear her talk about that and talk about how podcasting really isn't for everyone, and like that's okay, and also talk about how like how saturated podcasting is compared to YouTube, and how YouTube there's like, you know, probably like 10 times more YouTube channels, but you know, podcasting is its own, you know, new market, and that's one of the reasons that so many people have them. It was really interesting, and I really recommend the episode, especially if you are a podcaster. And I was also sick the whole trip. My throat was in like so much pain, and it was like sinus infection-y, and it was really bad. It was extremely painful every morning, every night. It was the worst. During the day, it wasn't too bad, which was really lucky because I was able to like enjoy the day, but it definitely sucked. And then since then, I have been stuck in the only thing I can think of is to call it a depressive rut, and I hate using words like that when, you know, I'm not a professional, and I shouldn't be, you know, diagnosing myself with things, but like that's really the only term that I can think to use for it, for a while. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough, right? And I talk about mental health a lot, and I think it's important to share things, you know, like experiences and personal experiences. And obviously, like, there are certain things that I won't share online because, you know, there are certain things that you just don't share online. But I am going to be honest about this and say that I'm still not in like the best place. And I also want to say that, you know, healing is not linear at all, and growth is not linear. It goes up and down and up and down and up and down, and I'm just like have been in a place where I'm like at a low point, and like that's okay. Like it's gonna go back up, and I just have to put in the extra energy when I get it, because, you know, like I haven't had that energy. And so I feel like once you break consistency, it's really hard to get back on it. And I've been experiencing that for the past like 2 months. I haven't been able to be consistent again because I'm just like, I want to work and create and, you know, do all these things, but I just don't want to, if that makes sense. You know, it's easier to not. And so I also don't have a lot of patience, and when I'm not seeing growth, that's definitely something that's hard for me because I'm very progress motivated. If I see progress, then I'm going to put in more work because I'm like, yes, I can get farther. And I haven't been seeing that with the podcast. And I thought that taking a break would help me like reset, and it didn't. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it's been recently. I'm excited to start fresh. I always talk about taking breaks and how important they are, but I never take them myself. So I think it was good for me to have some time off. I definitely have a lot of that like beginning of the year type of motivation, and I really don't want to lose it. I've already lost it once. So, you know, a couple weeks ago I tried to get back on everything and it didn't go well. So, yeah, and if you haven't noticed already, like I said earlier, I'm making some changes that I think are really great improvements to the podcast, and I really want to work the next 2 months until we hit our 1-year anniversary, because we will be hitting that in 2 months, which is really exciting. To, you know, make changes and figure out like where I want the podcast to go. I definitely feel like this year has been almost like a test to kind of get a feel for podcasting, and, you know, the kind of episodes I like to have and the people I like to have on, and, you know, do I like solo or guest episodes better, and, you know, what do I really enjoy talking about, and what can I talk about for a while, what do I need to talk about more or less, what do people want to hear, what do people like to hear. And so the next 2 months are going to be pretty typical. They're going to stay similar, maybe a little bit better than how it's been. And then after the 1 year, I'm not sure exactly where I want things to go, but I know I'm not going to quit. I want to put in the work to really grow the podcast, and I am definitely going to be making some changes before the 1-year anniversary, and, you know, doing some things to make really great improvements to make the podcast better and, you know, reach that target audience. I know that the next month in September, we're going to be talking about a lot of probably back to school stuff. I have an exciting project that I'm working on that I'm hoping to get like next week done, but I don't know that'll happen. And we're going to talk a lot about mental health and some other exciting things. And I just want to ask that you please share this podcast with all the teenage girls in your life. I want to build a community and a safe place where we can talk about things like self-love and mental health and, you know, all those things that are hard to talk about. And I want to be someone who can, you know, build that community for other people so that they have that in their lives. And one reason I'm so adamant about having the podcast and everything is that for a long time, I would listen to, you know, all these 20-somethings content and their podcasts. And, you know, I've talked about other podcasts that are older than I am, that I love and I adore, you know, Not Your Typical and Rebecca Lee and Morning Ray and Wellness Cafe and the Health Cafe and like all these podcasts that I love and I adore and I love listening to them, but it wasn't helpful for me. It's great for me to look up to them, but it's not realistic for me to do all the things they're doing. And, you know, it's not realistic because I'm not 20-something. I'm not, you know, living on my own. I don't even have a driver's license yet, right? And so I can't do those things, and I really want to make a place for teenage girls to go and be able to realistically do the things that I'm talking about. And of course, a lot of them do a very good job, you know, saying that they know that not everybody can do the things they're doing and they don't want them to. They're giving ideas and advice, and they don't want people to just try and copy them all the time. They want people to take what they need and leave what they don't. And they make it doable, but I want a place where teenage girls can go and, you know, when they're feeling alone or when they need motivation or when they, you know, are feeling down about a certain topic, that they can look through my episodes and find one that relates to that topic, or, you know, just make them feel less alone in what they're struggling with, and, you know, that hopefully I can help them get through that. So please share this with all the teenage girls in your life. Let's build a community. Follow the podcast and me on Instagram at themoannaadams and at themoannaadams podcast. And yeah, I know this wasn't the highest value episode I've ever put out, but it was definitely necessary for me personally to, you know, get these thoughts and ideas out there and share them. And so I hope you enjoyed it. I love you if you stayed all the way till the end. And I can't wait for you to hear the next few episodes because I'm super excited. I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to give this podcast a rate and review, as well as follow me on all my socials linked in the show notes. Don't forget to drink some water, and I'll talk to you later.